Welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Unicorns Warriors Eternal. If you're listening to that title and you're thinking it's going to be for a young demographic, well, it is an animated series, but it is from the genius mind of Genndy Tartakovsky. I'm probably decimating his name, but
Genndy Tartakovsky.
From the genius creative director and mind of the Hotel Transylvania trilogy, but most love him for Samurai Jack and Primal. He's done a number of other things, but I love the animation style and the creativity and the worlds that he builds within there. Samurai Jack is one of my favorite of all times animated series just because of that story of how much you get emotionally involved. So I was eager to try this one out because it looked a little different. Let's jump in and find out. The series follows a team of ancient heroes protecting the world from an ominous force. Throughout history, unicorns have symbolized the virtuous appearing to ensure that goodness reigns. When the reawakening of our heroes comes too early, they find themselves in the bodies of teenaged, damaged as a result. Their memories of who they are and the history of the unicorn over the centuries has been lost. There's a lot of interesting world building just within the first episode, and it kind of gives you a rundown of what to expect from the storyline, and then it kind of pivots it. Another thing, when I was watching the first episode, the first thing that came into my mind was, what does that look like when you take the heroes of the past that are protecting Earth, a different Earth, you just like a different Marvel Earth, you could just say it's a different Earth, because you'll see what I mean when you get to some of the latter episodes. It's Earth, but not as you know it. And so we get our protagonists who are the heroes from Egypt, or the different variety of superpowers, and you have them in a montage appear throughout history fighting this ominous force, which reminds me of a coup. Then you have them wake up but not quite right and basically forced into a teenage body. And the thought that jumped into my head was, well, for one, what happens to the person that's there? What happens if it doesn't quite work out right? And that is really where the story comes into its own. And I think it's the only way you could have written it to make it actually worth watching, because otherwise you have just a bunch of heroes fighting this enemy. Here we have a complicated story with memories of their past, of what they now have to do, a little bit off, kind of fragmented power with fragmented memories, kind of siphoning into a love relationship over the eons, now mixed up with kind of that memory. So it plays heavily on that part, as this team would have been amazing together and been able to take out the bad guy, this ominous force, immediately. Now we have these guys that need to learn how to use their powers again and awaken these abilities and memories of who they were before. One kind of remembers who they are, the other doesn't at all. Then you have this robot that, if you've watched the trailer, that Merlin has given to them and sent back to kind of be their protector and sort of guide. And that's where the story really starts to take place, as we find our main protagonists in London. This London, however, it's not London as we know it. It's London, but steampunk overhauled. Zeppelins, steampunk cars, everything's working off steam, the engineering, it's that kind of start. If you've ever seen Steam Boy, it's kind of like that in this. I love Steam Boy. I think Steam Boy is excellent. So I was really nicely surprised at how they were taking something that we know and then really like hyper realize that, like, what if all that technology really did come into its own, and that's what we were living in now. And it comes to a world where everything is just, everybody is okay with these weird mechanoids, steam powered vehicles, and just the combination of what we could have had. We had a little bit of those inventions, but not quite to the extent that they show here. Now the designs that they show in here, how they use it, I think is fantastic. Really well created. It really feels like a real world lived in steampunk era. And so in the backdrop of our characters figuring out who they are, what their abilities are, why they have been given these abilities, and their memories coming back, they have to play in this world. And then there's this ominous bad guy that is now playing at a different level, wanting to change things up, which is great as well. Now, if you look on the internet, it will say that there's only 6 episodes available, or going to be a 6-episode series. That's incorrect. There's actually 10 episodes. We've seen 7 of the 10, so I can't give a full review. But for now, let me just say this is well worth your time. The episodes are only 20 minutes. They run quickly. They expose the background of our characters give us enough depth and emotional value so that we care about when they have to go and save the day or try and learn who they are or work together. The animation is fluid and vibrant, but like I said, using the real world mechanics because they're still having to figure out who they are and how their powers work. So when you add that all together, you end up something that is easily seen as the Samurai Jack creator. You see where the animation comes alive, where the dialogue comes alive because they're having to work together as a team, and you get some of that emotional intensity. Now, because it's early days yet, we don't have a fully fleshed out story, and we don't have anything to hang our hats on and go and say, yeah, this is going to be one of the best. But I'm very intrigued to see what we will have in the future if this gets picked up. I really hope it does, because so far it's quality. I like the characters. I probably have my favorite character at the moment. I'll let you decide for yourself who you think is your favorite character. This is going to be a high mark when I finish watching it. I think it's definitely up there in the 4s because it has a really good editing style. With the animation style that is very vivid and alive in amongst that steampunk world, the editing style makes you want to watch more. Doesn't quite leave you on the cliffhanger every episode, but it makes you want to go back and watch it. They're quick, sharp, and makes you like the characters. So this is one of the best I've seen in a while. Really want people to enjoy this so that we get more. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Had you even heard of this? It's an Adult Swim original, probably on HBO or Water, or whatever you're calling it now, Max. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.